Hey everyone, thanks for your patience as I got ready to go live here. I'm a minute or two late getting started. I'm sorry about that. As that reminds me, this is a no cell phone zone, so let's go ahead and put our cell phones on pause here for a minute as I get ready to talk to you. This is my second in a series of Facebook Lives for the Magic Makers people who may not be familiar with the work of myself and what it means to really have a breakthrough. I already have a couple people on the call live. Hey, thanks for joining me today. It's an interesting topic to jump into, but today I really want to talk about how to have your own breakthrough. So you can see I have my paper ready. And we are going to, hey, Lisa's on the call today. Lisa, hi. I'm so glad you made it here today. It's perfect snow day outside, so good day to be gathering people and having a little chat. And so today, for those of you who are sort of new to my work, I want to discuss a little bit about what's going on in your brain, what's going on in the quantum field, and why you need to sort through it in order to advance yourself. And as a matter of fact, let me share a little bit of a story. I feel like I have so many stories to share with you about what's been going on with clients and even for myself. So stuck is a thing, right? All of us have our own version of stuck. You know, I think it's Margaret Lynch, who is really well known for her EFT, talks about the karmic ladder of evolution. So we truck along, right? And we eventually hit a wall. When you get to the wall, you can see there's a ladder and it goes up. When you're at the wall and you're at the ladder, you have a choice. You can sit down and stay stuck and decide that you're afraid of heights, or you can climb the ladder and go to the next level. So personal development that I work with people that you can do on your own is about climbing the ladder. Each rung of the ladder is like a tool that you pick up and you get to grow. You get to discover something about yourself. You get to maybe create a new level of dreaming and desire. You get to look at what's going on and you get to create change. So you hit that wall, you're at the ladder, and you decide to go up, right? So Magic Maker's Place is like you on the ladder. You're on the ladder right now, you're learning, you're taking little bites of information, and then you're at the top, and now you go again in the other direction. Doink, 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 doink. You've evolved. You've gone up, and you've evolved, and you keep going and going and going, and you integrate the information you learned on that ladder. And then you're over here, and guess what? Boink, another wall. Eventually, you're going to hit a wall again. And then you see the ladder and you look up and you go, oh, I want more. I either got to get on the ladder, which means do the work, or I sit here and stay stuck. And so it doesn't matter if you're just beginning your journey of personal development. When I bend down like this, by the way, I'm patting the dog. She's right at my feet. It doesn't matter if you're just beginning personal development, if you've been doing this for 30 years, and it's old hat for you, or if you're just wildly successful already and that you think there's nothing else, there's always more to learn and more to uncover, and you're going to hit a wall. I hit walls myself regularly, and as a matter of fact, I had this little thing today that happened. I could see the carrot dangling in front of me. Some of you might have a carrot dangling in front of you right now, right? The carrot is dangling and I'm like, I want it, I want it, I want it. But oh my God, was I so scared to reach for that carrot, because it meant I am going to have to expand in a way that feels scary to me. It was going to stretch me financially. It's going to stretch me personally, stretch me professionally. And I got really scared. And so what did I do over the last week or more? I created a little drama. I created my own little mess So much so that I walked away from the carrot. I walked away from the carrot, and then thankfully I got called out. I got called out, and I got a phone call, and it said, if you want it, you'll do it right now. Get the carrot. If you want it, do it right now. Holy. Here's me, knees knocking, tears building. Jody's in the room. Yay, Jody. Hey, welcome. So here's me with like the tears and the trembles and the heart palpitations. And I did it. I grabbed the carrot. But it wasn't until I self-sabotaged, I created some drama, and I got called out. That's when I grabbed the carrot. Now, some of you, like I said, might have your own carrot that you're going for, this thing that you want really bad, but for some reason you're spinning your wheels. You're on that hamster wheel. You've not been able to get the better job, the better relationship, create more time in your life. And I guess one of the things that I want you to know is it's relatively normal. Uncomfortable, but normal, right? So what is it that keeps us stuck or spinning? What is that about? So this is where I want to share with you, and you can actually see over my, let's see, that shoulder, there's a poster there, and I'm going to redraw that poster for you so that you can understand fully what is going on in your mind and kind of in the quantum field, okay? So let's start with, I should have had this all drawn out right here. Let's start with you. And let's give you a great big smile, because life isn't too bad, right? Oh, and that's a nice big head too, right? So here you are. Here you are with this great big idea of something that you want that is absolutely incredible to you, right? It's big and it's bright and you want it very, very, very much. So why not just go get it, right? Why not just go grab the carrot? You wanted it, or at least I wanted that carrot a minute ago. So how come you can't just go get what it is you wanted? Because you can clearly see it, right? You've decided what it's about. Well, let's do it like this. I want all of you who are in the Magic Maker's Place to start understanding your brain differently. I want you to be thinking about your brain as a camcorder. You know, you remember we used to have this thing we'd hold like this and we'd look through and we'd videotape people. I want you to think about your brain as a collector, a video camcorder type of collector. And it is creating inside of it films, rolls of film, okay? These rolls of film represent your history. Each roll of film is potentially an event that you had in your world. Particularly, your world as a child is imprinted in your camcorder, your recording device, your brain, if you will, okay? Your entire history is in your brain, the muscle that it is collecting all this. You could say it energetically. Your brain is collecting stories. You have a whole bunch of emotions here, all kinds of stories of fear, stories of anger, stories of joy. Of course, there are stories of joy as well, but the majority of the stories that you've collected over your lifetime are negative and they're hard and they have some meaning behind them, because we have a tendency as human beings to apply meaning to what we experience. Well, that person was frowning in my general direction. That means that person must hate my guts. See, we apply meaning to these things that may or may not be true. We decide in our head what something means. All of this is collected in your brain, and it creates a, let's do it like this, it creates a filter that affects the quantum field. Now, all of us live in a gigantic biofield. This biofield has information all over the place. It's a collection of particles relative to who you are. It continues beyond our direct area, and it actually puts information between you, yourself, and the outer world. However, let's talk about our direct biofield. Around you is all your potentials. The potentials for the new job, the new relationship, more money. It's all there and it's available to you. However, you have a filter right here. And the filter is based on what is inside of your brain. So your perception is limited by what's inside of your camera. So here we go. If you have stories collected that are negative and sad, then you're going to see the things that represent that out here. You're going to create a life that's filled with stories that are similar to what's going on inside of your brain. Just outside of your perception are all the things that you were hoping for. It's that big idea come to life. It's right here waiting for you. It's right here waiting for you to create it, to open your perception and let it in. But to do that, you have to have a breakthrough. You have to be able to look at these stories of sadness, despair, frustration, anger, confusion, and you have to change those and overwrite them. So you need to break through these stories. And how do you do that? How do you get to a breakthrough? You get to a breakthrough with a process of identifying your stories. So what we know is that the brain has a great capacity for neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means that your brain is malleable and changeable. And the old adage that you can't teach an old dog new tricks is a lie. Our brain, no matter what age we are at, can learn new tricks and is more than willing to learn new tricks if we will only give it our attention. So, our brain, we have the capacity to change these stories. What you're going to do is start by identifying the early stories that were absorbed by your brain when you were very young. Neuroplasticity, the bulk of the happenings occur from birth to ages 10, 11, 12 years old. Once we turn, we'll say 12 years old, the capacity for neuroplasticity slows, and it's like the switch goes off. We are then running on a camera full of stories we captured at a young age. Now remember, when we are 3 years old and we experience our parents having an argument, our young brains are applying meaning to it that may be inaccurate. Our young brains may be saying that it means more than it truly does. So we've applied meaning to a story and it's stuck inside of us now. So here's this is why it's important for you to create a list of stories that you know happened that may have shaped your belief system. All of our belief systems are based on these stories. So let's say the story here, reel number one, is a story of embarrassment. Perhaps you were in an embarrassing situation and your brother created it and you got completely humiliated. And so in that embarrassing moment, you decided you must not be good enough. So I'm going to write NGE, not good enough. And then let's say you're going into elementary school. By the way, give me your questions. Let me know if this is making sense for you, or a thumbs up or something. Let me know what's going on in your brain since I'm talking about this. So let's say then you have a story, you go to school and the teacher has an art contest and you put in your little drawing that you've done, and she looks at it and she goes, that doesn't qualify, that picture is not good enough. So, another story, not good enough. And then maybe you go to church and you're at church and you're listening to the priest or the minister, and they're preaching about, in order to be in the kingdom of God, you need to be sin-free. And you don't know what a sin is because you're only 5 years old, and so you must be a sinner, and therefore you must not be good enough for the kingdom of God, right? Your little brain just gave meaning to a story. Oh my gosh, you're not good enough to be in the kingdom of God. And please, anybody who's watching this, don't take offense. I'm creating examples out of thin air. I'm not saying this is your life. So take everything with a grain of salt. Just because I say it doesn't mean it has to mean everything for you. Meaning applied by the listener, right? So there you go. All right, so look, now we have a collection of stories that say not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. So what happens out in the world over here? Not good enough. A belief system that stinks. A belief system that says I better create a life outside of me that can identify with not good enough. The filter we created is labeled not good enough. When you have your list of all of these painful stories, you can use it to then break down those stories, relive them, and rewrite them. And I'm going to say that again. Your stories can be and should be rewritten and relived. So some thoughts around that. What's it mean to rewrite and to relive your stories? Everything that happens in our world, and us, me being here, me looking at the, I love your haircut. Thank you, so do I. Thank you, Michelle. I've been waiting to do this haircut. Everything that happens, everything is only energy, right? And what if the stories that we have experienced in our lifetime were only for our growth? What if we created discomfort in our life only to overcome it and be a better person? Remember when I first got on this call and I talked about our journey? We have information and we go on this journey, and then we hit a wall and we have a ladder that we can choose to go up. What if the wall is that story about not being good enough? What if the wall is the other story layered on top of it? What if every time we hit a wall, it's to benefit us and so that we can grow as a human and to learn to overcome pain and difficulties, right? What a beautiful idea that every single thing, no matter how hard it is, has only served us. The universe is conspiring on your behalf to make you a stronger, happier, healthier, more whole human being. What if that's the truth of it? We have opportunity to change these stories by revisiting them and feeling them again. In order to have your breakthrough, you need to experience the pain 1 or 2 more times for a minute or 2 at a time. I have techniques and protocols that you can use to feel it and heal it. You have to feel the pain, bring it back to life to get it out of your head and release it back into the quantum field for transformation. So you can relive the story for a minute, and then rewrite it. You can install in your brain a new version of the story. You can rewrite it. In my book, Scripting Your Own Life, I go through this, I explain this more in detail, how your brain is capturing, as though on film, all of your stories. You've applied meaning to it, you've created a belief system, and now you can destroy and uncreate that belief system. And you can create a life that is anything and everything you want it to be. And that's the truth of it. And I can honestly say that the more effort I make toward changing my stories, towards looking at that old story, the more often that I pull up a story, look at it, and eliminate it, the clearer I am, and the more magic happens. And the same thing can happen for you. Because what we know about some of the techniques that I use is that it literally, physically, scientifically creates cellular space in your body. Imagine this. Imagine your body is a collection. I'm going to put this right in the shoulder here. Your body is a collection of perfect round cells. Your cellular structure, they're all round and they vibrate. These cells vibrate out like this, right? So that's a happy, healthy cell. When you have a story that doesn't serve you, that's uncomfortable, what we know is that it can create a sludge on your cellular structure and literally misshape the cells, creating disease. This sludge that I'm drawing on this cell would represent cortisol and adrenaline and all the other neurotransmitters that are relative to stress. So now with this misshapen cell in your structure, that's when the body begins to break down and you get disease, disorders, discomfort, pain. So look, if this is in this ugly set of cells, say you have a collection of these cells that are filled with sludge and they're in your shoulder, the shoulders represent burden. So you have an emotional story in your shoulder about burden. Now when you look at your story and you rewrite it, you can clean up the cellular structure. You can strip it of all the toxins that have collected on it, and you can heal it, and you can have a very healthy relationship, not only to your shoulder, but to burden. You can have a healthy relationship with burden by sharing the burden with somebody else, by speaking your need for help, for getting actual help. You can transform your life by stripping yourself of the stories. It scientifically removes the sludge and makes room for something better to come in. We know how it goes. We know this, that it is true that the universe abhors a vacuum. There will never be a void in the universe. So when you pull out toxins and negative stories and negative emotion, something naturally has to fill that hole. So what do? We decide what we want to fill it with, like joy and happiness and success and opportunity and possibility and prayer and intentions, right? So we create the vacuum and we fill it immediately with something better. And what do we get but a breakthrough? An opportunity. So let me put the proof in the pudding for you. So I told you a little while ago that there was a carrot dangling in front of me, and I went ahead and created all kinds of drama around it. I didn't create stories with other people. I wasn't going around creating troubles for anybody, but I created a whole bunch of drama in my mind around that carrot. How am I going to get that carrot? How am I going to get that carrot? I can't have it. I'm not good enough. I went through the whole thing. So today when I committed to the carrot, no sooner than I put it in my hand and I have it, and I'm, you know, the sweat is dripping off my brow because, oh my God, I just took a massive leap of faith. No sooner than I took the leap of faith, my phone rings, and there's the opportunity. The universe rewarded me within seconds of taking that carrot in my fist. And that's the magic that I teach. That synchronistic phone call could not have happened had I not dealt with the carrot. It's like the universe had this beautiful little thing for me right out here that I couldn't get to until I expanded my thinking, until I transferred one of these stories into something better. So I grabbed the carrot in my hand and I have my phone in the other, and oh my goodness, magic. And that's what can happen for you too. You have to look at your stories. You have to eliminate the pain, the thinking, the belief systems in order to be able to get where you're going, your big idea. It's attainable for you. I promise that it is attainable for you, but you've got to be willing to do the work. Your breakthrough is going to offer you momentum. It's clarity, it's confidence, and it's momentum. And I will tell you that I'm not the only person with this kind of story. The majority of my clients have that kind of moment. We do a session, we do a topic, we relieve some pain, we pull out a negative story, we fill it with something better, and in hours, sometimes days, the magic happens. It's all about taking the leap of faith and being willing to do the work, to feel the pain, heal the pain, and create something new. Woo! That was a lot. I want you to know that I'm going to do another Facebook Live next week. The topic is going to be about cultivating change and what that's about. In the meantime, for today, I'd love to know if you have any questions. I'd love to know what's going on for you. I'd like to know your fear about addressing your fears. I want to know your fear about creating change. How can I help you? How can I serve you? I want you to not only put it here in the Facebook Live comments, but you could also create your own thread. The Magic Maker's Place is where you can go to be real and raw. What are you dealing with? And what are you trying to break through to? Everybody deserves a breakthrough. And this is a great year to be doing that. 2018 is the year of mastery. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8, if you add those numbers up, equals 11. 2 columns of light connecting heaven and earth and running right through us, right? This is the year for self-mastery, one of the columns, and intuition, a second column. This is about you taking the bull by the horns and addressing everything. It's about you being willing to stand up against the old you and standing for the new you that you are bringing to life. Instead of resisting, this is interesting. This is straight out of a channeling I listened to today. Resistance is futile. There's absolutely no point in avoiding doing the work, because the only thing it does is make you miserable. And that was, I'm telling you, that was from a direct channeling that I listened to this morning. And the rest of that channeling said, stand for something. So know in your life what it is you're standing for. Is it, I stand for a life of wealth and abundance? Is it, I stand for a life of deep love and relationship? Is it, I stand for a life that represents amazing and vibrant health? Do you stand for a life that is about manipulating time and having more than enough time to play and be outdoors? You've got to stand for something. What is that? Whatever it is, own it and then break through. Your breakthrough is right around the corner, and it's available to you at the Magic Maker's Place. And Jody says 11 is a power number. It absolutely is in the power number. We are in a power year. Personal power. Personal power. So let's see, I'm going to read the comments here real quickly. I'm going to slip on my little glasses. Yes, stuck is a thing. It absolutely is. Reaching new levels. Love the haircut. Our stories can be relived and rewritten. What if you don't remember all the not good enough or the BS stories? I love that question that Emily Miller is asking here. So many of my clients don't remember their stories. And I tend to think about that as a kind of, it's kind of like an excuse to not do the work sometimes. And I say that with a lot of love. It happens for a lot of people. I don't know my history. I don't know my history. The truth is, once you start the process of digging in and looking, oh, like I know that in 6th grade this happened. Well, it's kind of like you just cracked the door open, and a few hours later you'll go, oh yeah, and then I remember that in 4th grade that happened. And then when I was at church, it's like the door creaks open, and then all of a sudden it opens more, and the next thing you know, the door's been kicked open and all your memories come flooding back. It's really about being willing to open the door. I know that some people block out memories. I know that happens. Trauma can and will do that to you. And if you had that kind of a childhood, you may need some one-on-one coaching from myself or somebody who does trauma work like me. But the truth is, the stories are there, and you can always begin doing the work by working on what's current. Whatever happened last week that triggered you is an indication of what's going on deeply inside of your brain. If you find yourself triggered every time you see on television somebody dealing with verbal abuse, there's a big chance that you might have survived that yourself as a child, but you shut it down. So figure out what's triggering you today. Chances are it will open that door to a memory that needs to be looked at. And let's see, I hope that was helpful for you, Emily Miller. And Lisa is saying, I stand for authenticity and dedication to myself. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think that's exactly what I'm saying today, Lisa. Stand for dedication to your work, whatever that work is. Dedication to who you are, what you need to be, and what you need to present to the world. And I know who you are, Lisa, and you have a lot to offer. So I'm excited to see what your journey brings you. Let's see, somebody else just popped in. What if you're doing the work but feel like you're getting roadblocks to what you want? Does it mean you're not doing the right work? No, if you're doing the work, you're doing the work. Remember that our blocks are big, and they have been with us for a very, very long time. And it took me years of doing this work to get this clear. There's more to uncover. It only means, Michelle, that there's more onion to peel. It just means there's more layers that need to be looked at. Does magic happen overnight? Yes, at some point it does. When you've freed up enough space, the miracles will happen faster and faster and faster. The opportunities will present quicker. However, when you first get started with your personal development work, it takes some time. Your onion is really big. You've got a lot of layers to your story. You've got a lot of reels of film in your head that need to be addressed. Be patient with yourself. Love on yourself. Maybe that's just the only thing I can say to that is be patient with yourself and love on yourself and allow the healing to happen at its own pace. Remember, I think I said this earlier in this call, the universe is working on your behalf. Maybe your body, your constitution, your spirit needs a slower pace. Okay? And I wish you great success, Michelle, with your healing journey. So that being said, I am going to get ready to sign off here because I'm doing a Facebook Live for a private group on Facebook, and I need to take a little break. I need to go love up on my dog and check on this big snowstorm that we're having here in Maine. It is my pleasure to serve the Magic Maker's Place. I want you to know that this is the most important work that you do. Stepping into personal development is a very, very big deal. Next week, come back on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. I will be in Florida visiting my father and my dear, dear friend. And I'm going to come to you live from Florida next week. And I'm very excited to do that. We're going to be talking about cultivating change. And I can't wait to do that one. Can't wait to be in Florida with you folks. So catch me then. Lisa, you're so very welcome. I love hearing from my regulars. Thank you so much. That's all I have for you right now. Go into the Magic Maker's Place. Find the question of the week, which, by the way, what magic do I be that I haven't yet acknowledged? Anywhere I haven't acknowledged my magic, I destroy and uncreate that. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. This has been brought to you by the letters U and I. I am what I am because you are what you are. You and I are one. Be well. Bye.